Hello and welcome to variables lesson in CoSpaces. Okay, I've already created the room that we will be using to find a key and open the door. And this can connect into your maze lesson as well. You can create rooms with keys and open doors. So that's sort of the connection we're going to be working on here. First thing we need to do is get a door in there. So I'm just going to click on Library, and I'm going to click on Housing on the top, and I'm going to click on Other on the bottom, and I'm going to use this door right here. I'm going to slide that door into place right there, and then I'm going to look for a key. So I'm going to click on Search. Oh, actually, nope, sorry. I'm going to click on Upload right there. And you can see I've already found a key. But what you want to do is click on this Web Search button right here, type in key, and then it will come up with a lot of different options. I'm just going to grab this key right here and put it next to the door. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that both of these, I'm just going to two-finger click there, and the door, we're going to use it in Blockly, and the key, same thing, two-finger click, and we are going to use that in Blockly to make sure we can use it in our code. Okay, so once we've got those things all set up and ready to go, we're going to click up on Code in the corner. We're going to go down to CodeBlocks, and here we are in our coding area. So first thing we're going to do is we want to set a variable. So to do that, we want to go right down to the data arrow here, and we want to click on variables, and we want to grab this set variable block and just slide it in there, and just close that up. Now we're going to call this variable is locked. Okay, and we are going to actually set this variable to either a true or a false state. So I'm going to click on values right there, and that's under data, and I'm going to grab that, pull it out, and click it in there, and we're going to start by setting the is locked to true because the door starts as locked, and this variable now holds that value of true. Now what we need to do is we want to have it so when we get the key, we want something to happen. So let's close this up, and we're going to go up to events, and we're going to drag this out. When key is clicked, we want something to happen. So what we actually want to happen, and I'm just going to two-finger click this variable block right here. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to slide it into this block right here. So when you click on the key, the variable is set to false. Okay, so what that means is the variable is now changed. So when I click the key, it changes the variable to false. So is locked is false. And what we want to happen then is we want to actually make the key disappear. So to do that, we're going to go up to transform. We're going to go down to transitions, and we're just going to grab scale, slide it in there, and I'm going to scale it to decimal 0.0009 in 1 second. So I'm just going to close this up to make things a bit neater, and let's see if that actually works. So if I click on the key here, there we go. That seems to work well. Okay, once we've got that, we need to now do the interactive part for the door. So we want something to happen when the door is clicked. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to events again. And so when the door is clicked, we want something to happen. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually grab an if-else block. And I'll explain that in a minute here. So we're going to go into control, and you can see there is an if little section here. And we're going to pull out the if and else block here, because what's going to happen is if you click the door and you don't have the key, we want the door to not open. And if you click the door and you do have the key, or you've already tagged the key, we want the door to open. So what we need to do that is we need to put two variables in here. Okay, actually a variable and a Boolean function, the true or the false right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to data here again. And then we're going to grab the is locked variable, and you got to make sure that you get it right. You can see how it changes its shadow, kind of shadows there, and that means it's in the correct place. So we have to hover over there. And then what I'm going to do under the values, I'm going to grab the false block there, and you can see it kind of shades out, and that means it can sit in there. And I'm just going to change this to equals. And what we're talking about here, if is locked equals false, and you can see when the key is clicked, it changes the variable to false. We basically want that door to open because they've clicked the key, they've changed it to false, and we want the door to open. So we would want to find an animation. Now I'm trying to remember where animations are located. I think it's under actions and generic and near the bottom. Okay, there it is. So, sorry, that was just under actions and generic right there. Play animation. So if is locked equals false, that means I've got the key. The animation is going to be open, so that's going to play the open animation on the door. And then if the door is clicked and the variable reads true, which it does because that's what we've set it at the top, then we want the door to say something. So I'm just going to get the door to say find the key. Find the key. Okay, let's just go through this once more. So your variable is locked is set to true. If you go down here, if is locked equals false, then the door will open, but it's set to true at the start. So if I try and click it and I haven't got the key, it's going to basically say find the key. If I click on the key, it sets the variable to false, and then I can open the door. So let's see if this actually works. So click on play. Oh, my door is kind of covered up there. Let me just kind of, there we go, back that out a bit. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, it's got a space. Anyway, that's okay. So I'm going to click on the door, find the key it says, and I'm going to click on the key. The key shrinks down, and I click on the door, and I am free to get out of the room. Hooray! And I'm just using my WSAB keys to move around. Okay, so hopefully that tutorial is useful, and now that's something you can apply into some of the rooms in your maze. Good luck.